everybody to another great episode of Real Life Matters. But today we have a special segment with RLM Wealth Tips with Daniel. And today we're going to be going through, he's an expert in investment property. So we're going to have a few people that have sent in their questions already. We're going to ask them to, I'm going to ask them for them. So to ask Daniel. So he's going to be talking about today about his expert opinion in investment properties. So with no further ado, I invite Daniel Chin to the screen. Hi.
The boss, good afternoon, and great to be back on your show. Good
Good night, good day, wherever you could be.
Absolutely.
All right. I was asking, a lot of people, you're an expert and stuff like this. You've been doing this for a long time. So a lot of people want to ask what, this girl named Judy, she wants to ask and find out with you, why should people pick you to build their real estate investment portfolio?
Well, Judy, great question, and I get asked a lot of time. And with any professional or expert who you deal with, you do have to ask that question. And first of all, I always say, have you done research about me? If you Google Daniel Chin, and then you'll see who I am, what I do. But why deal with me is because I really have that track record over the past 10 years. What I can tell you is I have invested 4 clients, and 3 I can off the top of my head, I have bought over $1 million in assets, and these are long-term investments. So over the next 20 years, when these properties are mortgage-free, they are already millionaires. So it's really building wealth over the long term, and I'm very specialized in what it is I do. So I only do multi-family properties. I don't do single family. I don't do student rentals. I don't do student renter-owned properties or pre-construction investments. I only do multifamily properties, and I'm specialized in one geographic location, which is downtown Hamilton in Ontario, for the viewers that are in Canada, in these Canadian provinces. And the third thing is really, I do have the infrastructure. So it really does take time to build, those relationships with the trades and all of these service companies, because rental properties does require servicing and maintenance. So building all these strong relationships with service companies, from anywhere from furnace to water tanks to the roof, and with having that respect with the trades, and all of these having these huge discounts which I get, I pass those savings along to the client. And lastly, I really am not afraid to take risk. So when it comes to properties that heavily needs substantial renovation, I'm not afraid to touch properties like that. So when you look at deals that requires a lot of work, and you have that sort of creative ability to create value and add value through renovations, then you are in that basket of investors who who are gonna find some diamonds in the rough, like they say. And the rest of other investors who are very scared because they see knob and tubes and all sort of things that looks a bit dangerous in properties, they aren't gonna touch it, and their opportunity, their opportunity loss becomes your opportunity gain. So that's what I would say, Judy, and it's a great question. But always do your research on anybody whom you who you are dealing with or plan to invest with.
All right. So is it true that you've studied almost over 10,000 hours of this doing these investments in the trade? That's part 2 to Judy's question.
Yes, Judy, if you knew Daniel Chin over 10 years ago, I was very, very obsessed. And not having any real estate background in my family, or no one has ever done what I did in real estate in my family, I had to really find the knowledge, and I was a voracious reader. I read every single real estate investing book I can find in the library, and tried to utilize as much resources as possible to acquire that knowledge in the beginning. So I was very obsessed. I didn't go out too much. I was reading days, nights, weekends. And when you really think about it, 10 years later is probably more than 10,000 hours are very committed and dedicated to being successful in investing and creating wealth.
Wow. Okay. So Lisa wants to ask you the question. How many properties do you own yourself?
So
If you don't
what yep
you don't have to say the exact number. We can probably
Yep. So what I would say is I manage a portfolio of 30 apartments, and it is of at least 8.5 million, and I would say half of the portfolio I do own. So the other 50% is managing for other clients. Yep. And yep, that's what I would say.
Okay. So does this lifestyle from Lisa, she's asking, does it give you the lifestyle you want?
The with
Like
the
the
with
freedom,
the
financial
freedom.
freedom. Mhm.
Yep. So the answer is yes. However, in the beginning, you don't have much balance or freedom in your life because you are doing whatever it takes to get the plane off the ground and to really start growing. And you are just thinking about how to grow, grow, and grow. And certainly, when you have made the right decisions and the investments becomes fruitful over time, yes, the fruits does bear, like they say, later down the road, and receiving that passive cash flow income certainly does give you more financial security when you have the checks being deposited at the first of every month. And given that your type of investment, well, in this case, I'm all about multifamily, they are the most resilient and stable and very consistent. So the investment, like I said, take care of your investments and your investments will take care of you.
Okay, so was it Lisa said she wants to know, do you have like, because you're so involved and you have all these apartments to rent and take care of. She says, well, do you have time for relationships and stuff like that? Because some people just have to family relationship.
It is a very crazy life where, like I said, the more money, the more, some people say more money more problems, but I say more money more responsibilities. And and certainly if it takes a lot of your time, and then you have to think about hiring people, to develop that team such that you can do a lot more because everyone only has 24 hours in a day. So
But you have
about
27.
27. So 5 years ago, the boss, when I had my a brother's wedding to attend to, and what I learned around that time, because again I was pretty much in that first 5 years you do whatever it takes to grow, and you're very obsessed in what you do and you don't think about anything else. You're just laser beam focused on trying to get the plane off the ground and be very successful and make money, right? Because you have to be profitable. And what I learned is I was only thinking about real estate investing, and that's it, nothing else. No relationship, no girls, no family, not too much. But but what I learned is you have to make time for family, right? I've done that since then over the years. Attended every birthday parties, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, etc. And family is definitely one of the pillars in my life.
Okay.
When it comes to relationships and girls, that I would say sometimes, yeah, it's sometimes it could take a lot more out of you, but it's difficult trying to find that balance being an entrepreneur. But I think whomever that your significant other, if they're very understanding, and they know that this is the life of an entrepreneur, if they're not if they're also an entrepreneur themselves, they too will understand. And it is that type of life where your schedule is right around the clock. Yep. Because you have
Wow.
because your customers or your clients, they're very demanding of you, and you have to take care of your customers and your employees.
Wow. Okay, so when we come back, we got some questions from Paul that he's going to ask you. So we'll just take a brief break. So we'll be right back. Well, we're back. Hello? Yeah, so
Yep,
we're
that was
back.
a
So
very
what
quick
happened?
commercial.
That was a very quick break. I don't know. I hope that's all right.
Yep.
But Paul wants to know, you said that you're great at investment properties. So if at any time, are you willing to provide references, and can you give an example of some stuff that you've done?
Yep. So pretty much, well, if you join the Chin Properties YouTube channel, you'll see pretty much my work and what I've been doing over the past 10 years. Because I just pretty much post things, more for educational. So not the type of fluff and things that just looks all great and nice, but what it really takes and the things you don't really see in property management or real estate investing, and pretty much the problems that you solve. So some of the so that the short answer is yes, I can provide references of when it comes to the types of renovations that I've done, the biggest being converting a single family to duplex conversion. And when it's the best thing I always say is don't tell them, show them. So can I actually show you real properties if you come see me in downtown Hamilton? The answer is yes. And
Okay.
and yes, I do have a big renovation upcoming, which is another single family converted to duplex. And so I always say, don't just tell them, show them. So I could actually show Paul a lot of things I'm doing in Hamilton.
Okay, so he's asking now, what are your plans for future growth?
Scale in the sense that investors, what I realized over the years, they don't have that interest to be swimming in a pool of problems with properties, and having to deal with all the trades, and when it comes to getting things done, if a roof needs to get done, which I one big job which I completed last Friday. And it's pretty much it's all about the income, because some of these clients, the income supplements their job income, and some it's just a long term towards planning for their retirements.
Mhm.
And it's pretty much the returns on their capital, which is what they want, and not to be like the Warren Buffetts of the world, or to be dedicating a lot of their time and not having much time for themselves. It's just the money. And so for me, I do plan on starting a real estate fund or an investment fund, where investors, they can simply just buy shares, and the whole operation can be more scalable and more efficient, and they still get the same end results, which is a great return on their money.
Okay. All right. So now we're getting to the part here. Arissa, she said, you said that people can hire you to do either, speaking, property coaching, and training. So what would that consist of if somebody was to hire you to do that?
To for
Coach or talk about investments and, how to do investments. what would the course consist of?
Yep. So when it comes to the coaching or the training, so I'm not in that type of business, but I'm happy to do like a speaking engagement.
Yes.
And where I pretty much speak about the same principles over and over, which you have been getting all the well tips in RLM. And and of course I wrote a book, The Manifested Millionaire, 10 powerful principles to real estate success. And these principles is what I have learned the hard and expensive way in the past 10 years. And I literally, there's the amount of mistakes or these principles I've learned, that's over 100,000 in mistakes, right? That's
Ooh.
dollars, $100,000, right? In
Ooh,
mistakes
so it's not
that,
just 100,000; it's $100,000.
yeah, the most I've lost was 30,000, right?
Wow.
And and then when all these thousands and tens of thousands, it adds up. And of course, I share it with other people, and they can get it in Chin Properties YouTube. I've been posting content in Instagram, and I can do speaking engagements. So you can continue watching RLM Well Tips, and pretty much that they will they in turn, it's always cheaper to learn from other people's mistake or the boss. I can do speaking engagements, and when it comes to more the consulting, it's on a given like on a deal by deal basis, where if let's
So they
say,
didn't get you for like an hour or so. You're doing it now,
yep,
anyways. But
yep, it
so
you
they
make,
get you for an hour or two. They
yeah.
book you like that, or that's what she's emphasizing, Arissa.
Yep. So it will be, if pretty much it requires a lot of my time, and it's really you're providing those consulting services, and it is to solve a problem in a deal which they're experiencing currently. Then yes, you do charge for, I will charge for my time by the hour. If it is on a deal that they need to execute, and I can provide that service through my own real estate brokerage or investment
Right.
firm, if it is anything to do with renovations or etc., design and renovations, of course you do charge. Like for example, like I mentioned in one of your previous episodes, for designing, just designing, right? Giving someone the blueprints and the plan, right? To renovate, I charged 2,000, and that was 2,000 bucks I made in 5 minutes, right? So,
Okay.
but in turn, that client took that right renovation plan which I gave him, and then spent
So you
25 to
actually
30.
you actually did the plan for him. You do it.
Y-
You did up the
yep,
plan.
yep. And with that
Wow.
plan, they, after renovation, they created about $150,000 in upside. And when they refinanced at 500,000, that money was theirs. So it's really how you create value for the client. And I always say that my number one goal is to make the client the most money possible. If they don't make money, you ain't gonna make money.
All right. So you basically, so if somebody, even if they take you on a one-on-one basis, if it's not necessarily if you're coaching or you're going, they
Yep.
come to you one-on-one. And so you apply. Arissa wants to no, sorry, Arissa, sorry, Leslie wants to know that. Okay, so do you take a chapter of your book and relate it to them, or what do you do from your
Yep.
Manifested Millionaire book?
Yep. So pretty much, it's very simple. If Leslie says, Mr. Chin, here's my situation. Quickly, I can figure out if it, if it's something worth charging or not. If it's something as simple as they just didn't know where to get the information from the city hall of the given city that they're investing, or where the
Mm-hmm.
property address is situated, that they're doing, then it's those are just the little things. I don't mind, I can answer those questions, no problem. But if it requires your professional expertise, where you have to
Mm-hmm.
go in, do the digging, help the client solve the problem and represent them, and then of course you sign all those documents, prior to starting any work and receiving a deposit, right, before you do any work.
I
Because
get a
there's
contract.
yeah, because you have to quickly weed out people when they call and they just want the free lunch. That's why when
Mm,
someone calls, the first thing I said, right, is have you researched about me or have you bought the Manifested Millionaire book already? Because if someone hasn't done any research of about you, the boss, and they, just want you to give them a free lunch, then that's you know it's not really me. I think you have to be very respectful of other people's time. And but if someone makes a great first impression, they have research, they have looked on all my social media, they have been following me for quite some time, and they're really truly trying to help themselves when it comes to investing or making money, and they have really took action, tried things and many things, and some didn't work or they just can't seem to figure it out, then
okay.
okay, I can quickly figure out in 5 minutes and tell them what to do and how to make the money. Yeah.
So you're willing to come to if they go to Toronto, or if somebody's. I know your area is Hamilton. So if you are you willing to come out of that area if need be, if somebody needs assistance?
Yep, because the real estate principles, it is universal. I mean, if someone in the Caribbean or America, right, they want advice, it's the same. I mean, it's the same brick and nail, and it's the same when it comes to real estate investing. When you ask someone, is the area in near the farmlands, or it's in the city in the downtown core? Is it near the waterfront? And is so then you gauge if the market is hot or cold, or if there's
Okay.
any money to make, and quickly figure out if they're in the right areas or not.
Okay.
And so yes, so for example, a doctor friend last year around September was purchasing a property in Cornwall just before Ottawa, and then he
Mhm.
picked my brain about it. But a very good friend, so then I pretty much when he told me the details, I listened, I said okay, and all right, well, I said that, and then when I provided further information, given with the real estate brokerage, then at least he has a bit more details, such that he can feel more confident to make an informed decision. And that I can help others in that way.
Okay.
It's any deals, people over in the GTA, people come the boss, and I just give them
Okay.
my advice.
Well, today we got some really good RLM. Well, to get to know Daniel today and how his expertise and stuff like that. So it was really great having, and I'm sure a lot of people, the questions that the people answered, they got them really answered really well. So thank you, Daniel, for that again.
No, you're very
Is
welcome,
anything you
other
want to
boss.
say
I
before
like.
we sign off?
Well, yeah, what I would say is, in with anybody you deal with or you invest with, I always say you have to know them, like them, trust them, respect them, and I had a fifth one where that that they're also wealthy, right?
Okay.
Because if they're not any of those five, then you're in trouble.
Okay. All right. Well, Daniel, it was great having you talk about this stuff today. And follow him, Daniel Chin. He's all over the place. You can know him and you can also contact me, contact him if you need some help. So, anyways, I do want to thank everybody today for watching RLM Wealth Tips with Daniel Chin, and today was his property. He's a property investment expert. So, thank you, Daniel.
You're very welcome, the boss.
All right.